everybody? This is Sean V. Bradley, CEO of Dealer Synergy, and you know what time it is? It is Make Money Mondays. Hold up. I said it's Make Money Mondays, people. Let's get it started. Okay, this week we are going to focus on our internet sales coordinators. What the heck is a coordinator? Well, different dealerships obviously have different names for different titles of employees. Some dealerships call these people BDC reps, business development specialists, appointment setters. In our system at Dealer Synergy, these frontline, incredibly awesome people are called internet sales coordinators. So this is a special edition of Make Money Mondays for our internet sales coordinators. All right, the number one thing that this whole series is about is making money. Making money. So what are we going to do? I want to make this very simple for you all to understand. It's a cause and effect. And what I mean by that is that each action that you do has either a positive or negative result. So again, one thing that you do is going to build into the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. Follow my lead here. Every time you make a phone call, you're going to have an opportunity to engage a prospect. The more people that you engage, the more appointments you make. The more appointments you make, the more appointments you could confirm. The more confirmed appointments, the more people show up. The more people show up, guess what happens? The more people obviously buy cars. So I'll reverse that again, okay? One more time. Make Money Mondays. How are you going to do it? Focus on what you can do to turn around and increase your odds of selling more cars. Okay, so follow me on this. The more people you call, the more people you connect with. The more people you connect with, the more appointments you make. The more appointments you make, the more appointments you can confirm. The more confirmed appointments, more people show up. More people show up, more people buy cars. All right, now, I'm going to switch this off to a quick analogy. If you think of a mountain, you can't see like a super huge mountain and look up and just expect to get from the bottom of the mountain to the top of the mountain and on some Superman stuff, right? So what's going to happen is you're going to have to climb the mountain. How do you climb the mountain? One at a time. So think about it. Try to visualize there's a mountain in front of you and you've got one of those spikes, one of those mountain climbing spikes, and you hit it right into the mountain. And then you're going to reach a little bit higher and you're going to put another spike in. And then you're going to pull yourself up and then you're going to climb and you're going to climb and you're going to climb and you're going to climb. That's what you're doing with your protocol. You're not going to just get to the sale just by wishing for it. We all know what is the hardest part of internet sales? Getting the person on the phone. Let that sit for a second. The hardest part of the entire automotive internet sales department, the internet department, the BDC, the business development department, the call center, whatever you want to call your environment that you're in, the hardest part is not objections, rebuttals. It's not dealing with price. It's not dealing with availability. It's not dealing with any of that stuff. The hardest part is getting somebody on the phone. So what do you need to do? You need to dial the phones more. I'm going to break down the actual formula towards the end of the series, but you need to dial the phones more. Why? Again, the more times that you dial, the more opportunities you'll have to actually have somebody pick up the phone and are ready to listen to what you have to say. The more conversations that you have, the more opportunities you're able to sell the value of that appointment over that phone. And now, the more times that you've closed that appointment, you've got somebody to commit to that appointment, guess what? The more opportunities there are people to actually show up to your dealership. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's go back to this original thing again. How do you make money as a coordinator? Well, you've got to figure out what is it that your main job is. It's making phone calls, okay? Now, J.D. Power says, NADA says, Dealer Synergy says, all these other experts say, different things about different numbers. Here's what I know to be the truth after 14 and a half straight years of doing internet sales. Again, you're going to look at roughly about an 11 to 14% connection ratio on the phones. That means that if you dial the phones 100 times in a day, does not matter if you're smart, if you're not smart, you're pretty, you're not pretty, you're happy, you're grumpy, it does not matter. Just basic mathematics. Whoever you are, my level, entry level, whatever level, if you dial the phones 100 times, statistically, you're only going to connect with about 11 to 14 people. Fact. If you dial the phones 120 times, that's actually the Dealer Synergy mandatory minimum. 120 make or take phone calls in a day. If you dial the phones 120 times, statistically, you're only going to connect with about 14 to 16.8 people in a day. All right? Now, let's use the reverse of that. Well, let's say if you only turn around and you dial the phones 50 times, how many people are you going to connect with? Well, you're talking about what? 5, 6 people you're going to connect with? That's not a lot of people. So when I talk to dealerships and I talk to appointment setters, I talk to BDC reps, and they tell me that they're only making 20 phone calls, 30 phone calls, 50 phone calls, 60 phone calls in a day, and I'm like, that's not gonna work. They start to justify to me all the time why they can't make phone calls, okay? They're telling Sean B. Bradley why they can't make phone calls. Oh, it's not about quantity, Sean. It's about quality. It's about quality. When I get on the phones, it's magical. I'm like, really? Then how come you only sold, 4 cars this month? Math doesn't lie. Math cannot, be manipulated to your own personal benefit or my personal benefit. Math is math. So it'll keep you on a constant understanding of where you're really at. Let's go through this again, okay? If you don't dial the phones enough, you're not going to get enough people on the phone to talk to. If you don't have enough conversations, you're not going to make enough appointments. If you don't make enough appointments, you're not going to have anybody to really confirm. If you don't have any confirmed appointments, you're going to have very, very few people actually show up to your dealership. And if you only have a couple people show up to your dealership, you're only going to be able to sell a little handful of cars. For all that opportunity, it's such a waste. So you have two choices. You could do it the wrong way, or you could do it the right way. The right way is pushing for the high level and the high volume of phone calls. Let's go back to what I just said before about the excuses. People say that they can't make the phone calls. One of them is because they said that, it's about quality. I get that, but let's just do this realistically. Follow my math here. It's just pretty sad. If you have only the ability to make or attempt to make 50 phone calls, right? That means you're going to get 5 or 6 people on the phone. Even if you turn around and you did an amazing job with them, you took your time, you found out everything about their history, their anniversaries, the birth dates, their wants, wishes, expectations, all that. It's only 5 or 6 people. It's an 8-hour day. Appointment setters, BDC reps, you're not doing product presentation, demo drive, delivery. You're not doing any of that stuff. So again, you're psyching yourself out. It's not about just quantity, because even if you had the most incredible experience, you're not spending, literally an hour a phone call. I don't care how good the phone call is. Even if you had one phone call that lasted super long, not all 6 or 7 phone calls are going to be an hour long. So you got to be realistic here. What are you doing in a 7 or 8 hour day if you're not dialing the phones? Because I know you're not connecting with those people. Statistically, again, you're only going to connect with 11 to 14%. So that is the number one most powerful thing that coordinators could do, is dial the phone. Now, how do I know this? And I've got proof about what I'm going to show you. I have an exercise called the Power Hour that we do at Dealer Synergy. So if you are an internet director, a GM, GSM manager, or if you are a proactive internet coordinator that wants to be successful, try this. I've done this, and I've got video footage, I'll tell you where to find it in a second, where we go into dealerships, and I will turn on and put $100 bill. I stapled it or I taped it to the bulletin board behind me or in front of me, and I go to the internet department of the BDC and say, okay, who wants to make a quick $100 cash right now? Hands go up. Everybody's like, I do. Here's what you got to do. All I want you to do is whoever can make the most amount of phone calls in 1 hour gets the $100. Everybody's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to slam it. I got it. Oh, you're not going to get it. That's my money. No, what? That's my money. No, that's my money. Everybody's hyped up. And what I say to them is that don't worry about putting notes in. Let's see how fast you can bang the phones. Legitimate phone calls, though. You got to dial the phone, answer. If they're not there, leave a voicemail message. You know what? The stats are off the charts. When they're that focused on that $100 for that 1 hour, I've had people make 20, 30, 40, even 50 phone calls in 1 hour. Don't believe me? Go to automotiveinternetsales.com, and in the search bar in the top right hand, there's a place where you can just type in anything and search for stuff. Type in Power Hour. Or go to YouTube, type in Dealer Synergy Power Hour, and you'll see I have about 4 or 5 different examples of different dealerships. You know what? I had a GSM from Louisiana bring me into their dealership because they said, we can't make any phone calls, and I know my people tried. They tried really hard. I got there, first 30 minutes, I profiled it. They were not doing what they're supposed to do. I did the Power Hour. All of a sudden, it was like the veil of ridiculousness was pulled off of the GSM. He couldn't believe how many phone calls his own people made in 1 hour. They made more phone calls, some of them, in 1 hour than they did in an entire day. It's about how you get your mind right, how you focus. So again, this week's edition of Make Money Mondays is for our appointment setters. As simple as this might sound, you can make a hell of a lot more money just by dialing the phones. And I'm going to close by saying this. You don't want to minimize what I'm saying to you because, people might not understand, well, how does just dialing the phones correlate into more sales? It really does. Again, it's a numbers game. More people you call, more connections. More connections, more appointments. More appointments, more confirmations. More confirmations, more shows, more sales. Literally, just by dialing the phone more, it's like dominoes. Just by pushing that one domino down, it's going to have an effect that's going to lead to more sales for you all. So again, this is the newest edition of Make Money Mondays. For my internet sales coordinators, dial the phones more and you will make more money. I guarantee it. I'm out.